What is up, people of the Zach Reacts Live Nation? It is I back at it again. This is Zach, and let's Zach react to NXT 2.0. The date for this week's episode was April 12th of 2022. Let's jump into it. The show began with the recap from last week, showcasing Braun Breaker versus Gunther for the NXT Championship. Breaker won the match, but Joe Gacy and Harlan were seen kidnapping Rick Steiner, Breaker's dad, afterwards. The show goes right into it with the championship. They were talking about the show, hyping it up as Championship Tuesday. We kicked things off with a North American title match between champion Cameron Grimes against Solo Sikoa, the littlest Uso brother, if you will. Super hard-hitting match right out the gate. A lot of really big near falls. Crowd was super into it at the CWC. The match went 13 minutes and 11 seconds, and Cameron Grimes caught Sikoa with a cave-in for the pinfall victory. Some hijinks here at the end of the match. Trick Williams tried to interfere, but Sikoa hit a frog splash on Williams onto the outside of the ring. When Sikoa got back in the ring, that's when Grimes caught him with the cave-in. After the match, Carmelo Hayes made his return to NXT as he and Trick attacked both Sikoa and Grimes. Hayes hit a springboard crossbody on Grimes before grabbing the North American title and raising it up, basically hinting that he's coming back for that title. He's getting his rematch shortly here. On commentary, Wade Barrett and Vic Joseph announced tonight's main event would be a Gauntlet tag team match for the recently vacated NXT Tag Team Championships. I don't think I need to explain why they were vacated. If you watch this show, you already know why. The teams that are involved are Legado del Fantasma, Briggs and Jensen, Sangha and Grayson Waller, and the Creed brothers. Oh, and the newest team coming over from NXT UK, the team of Pretty Deadly. We then go to the back where Malcolm Bivens and the Creed brothers say Pretty Deadly are pretty stupid, and the Creed brothers saying they'll win the NXT tag titles and beat Pretty Deadly after they attacked the Diamond Mine Dojo. The Creeds were then shown getting a number from the Royal Rumble roulette machine, with the Creed brothers looking satisfied and Julius even saying that they wouldn't have it any other way. NXT champion Braun Breaker then made his way down to the ring. He said that Gacy got his attention after kidnapping his dad and stated that no one messes with his family. Breaker then called Gacy to come out to the ring, but Gacy showed up on the Tron. It looks like he was outside in front of a fire, saying that he started to finally understand Breaker better. He said that he knew Braun was tough based on the beating Gacy and Harlan put on Braun's dad. Gacy then revealed that Rick Steiner is free, but that he stole Rick Steiner's Hall of Fame ring. Gacy then throws it in the campfire. And of course, Braun immediately left the ring yelling about where's Gacy at, where's Gacy at. We then cut to a video package showcasing Toxic Attraction regaining the NXT women's tag titles before being interviewed in the Toxic Lounge backstage. NXT women's champion Mandy Rose said Dakota Kai has zero chance of winning the women's title later on tonight. Kushida and Iki Manjiro were making their way to the ring backstage, but Von Wagner attacked both of them from behind. Wagner powerbombed Kushida into a trash can before Robert Stone said there would be no match between Kushida and Wagner tonight. Breaker was then shown walking out of the arena. The camera crew tried to get a comment from him, but he basically yelled at them to get the camera out of his face and then sped off. In the ring, Robert Stone said Jacket Time just ran out of time, saying this is Von Wagner's world and that the NXT universe was living in it. Iki Manjiro got to the ring to confront both Wagner and Stone and challenged Wagner to a match. Nothing really of note here between Wagner and Jiro. Kind of obvious that Wagner won. Jiro did get in some offense as far as some kicks and strikes, but Wagner did defeat Jiro in 2 minutes 58 seconds with a modified Death Valley driver. The same woman in the crowd, I wish I could remember her name. I know they said it a few weeks ago on NXT. She is confirmed to be working with Robert Stone. She was in the crowd, and after the match, she told Wagner to attack Jiro. Wagner then picked up Jiro and military press slammed him from the ring all the way into the crowd in a really, really cool spot. I'm assuming they were plants because it was basically just the first couple of rows, but it looked awesome, honestly. And finally, Wagner has done something to impress me. Every week, I feel like I talk about Von Wagner being just kind of like plain and bland. He finally showcased his strength and had a really, really cool moment that I'm sure is going to be in some highlight packages to come in the future. Nikita Lyons, my favorite part about NXT, was interviewed backstage saying she was going to prove herself after defeating Lash Legend on the April 5th edition of NXT. Lash then came out of nowhere and hit a pump kick on Lyons and laid her out before Norman Smiley and other WWE officials intervened to separate Legend from Nikita. Legend was basically saying a lot of stuff about how Lyons ain't anything, yada, 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 so on and so forth. And I guess we're seeing this feud continue. We then go to a video package showcasing Pretty Deadly, revealing that they came in to dominate NXT 2.0. They said the Creed brothers weren't stylish and said that they would also be the first team to win the NXT tag titles in their debut match. Speaking of titles, we then go to our second championship match of the night, where we have women's champion Mandy Rose taking on Dakota Kai. Really good match here, as I even saw some new offense from Mandy. Again, I haven't seen an improvement like Mandy's in a long time in NXT, if ever. She has gotten so much better in the ring, and of course, you have Dakota Kai, who's always been super on point, very entertaining. The end came when Gigi Dolan distracted the referee, which led to JC Jane getting hit with a kick to the head from Kai. Rose then hit the running knee out of nowhere on a distracted Kai for the pinfall and to retain the title in 10 minutes and 50 seconds. After the match, Wendy Chu came out to the ring with a water gun and started spraying Toxic Attraction. Laid them out. Toxic Attraction freaking out as NXT has their beer truck moment a la Stone Cold Steve Austin. Obviously not on the same scale, but it was still pretty entertaining. It looks like Wendy is going to be Mandy's next challenger for the title. We then go to the backstage where Joe Gacy was cutting another promo on Braun and family and his father, so on and so forth. Gacy then actually used some tongs to take the Hall of Fame ring out of the fire and then burned his own hand by putting the ring on his finger. So actually kind of really unsettling moment there. So yeah, Gacy just continues to be super freaky. Breaking news. We then go to the locker room where Legado del Fantasma and Tony D'Angelo were talking. Tony offered a piece offering in cash to Santos, but Santos told Tony that the respect of the family is earned as they walked out of the locker room. Cora Jade then comes out to the arena and says that WrestleMania weekend was the most important weekend of her life, that her parents watched her wrestle in the second row. She said she felt like she was leaving Stand and Deliver as the new women's champion, saying that she needs to be champion. She said her goal was to be a champion in WWE, saying she'll work her ass off to be in the same level as wrestlers like Paige, AJ Lee, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Natalya, which, yes, she did name drop AJ Lee and Paige, which was kind of crazy. Caught me off guard, that's for sure. Speaking of catching off guard, Natalya then made her return to NXT as Jade was stunned. Jade played the stun look excellently, absolutely excellent. As commentary mentions, this is Natalya's first appearance in NXT in 8 years. Natalya tells the crowd that she loves them too and that she's glad to meet Cora Jade, with Jade saying that the moment is surreal. Jade then recalls that she messaged Natalya back in 2011 when she was at a live event, and Natalya says she remembers. Natalya tells Jade that she loves that she has the passion for this, telling her that she is the future of the NXT women's division. Natalya then turns and tells Jade that the future is bleak before slapping Jade and hitting a sharpshooter on Cora. So Natalya gives a shot into the women's division in NXT, turns heel immediately right out the gate, like no time wasted there, which was actually kind of cool. And Jade sold being heartbroken brilliantly as well. She sold the fangirl meeting her idol, and then looked completely heartbroken to the point to where you can't help but feel bad for her. And I'm excited to see these two go at it for sure in the future. Briggs and Jensen were then seen backstage saying they do anything to win the tag team titles, with even Fallon Henley shouting that they were going to kick some ass, getting Briggs and Jensen even more fired up. We then cut to a video package showing Nathan Frazier, formerly known as Ben Carter, where he reveals that he's going to be making his way to NXT 2.0 after his stint in NXT UK. Looks like the exodus from NXT UK continues. Nathan Frazier is going to be super exciting to see in NXT 2.0. I imagine he's going to go after the North American title once Grimes and Mello resolve their issues there. So super stoked to see how that goes. We then cut to our next match of the evening where we had Zion Quinn taking on Draco Anthony. Interesting match here. Didn't last too long. Zion did defeat Anthony in 3 minutes even. The story came from the match was that Anthony was acting a bit heelish. He kept mocking Quinn's Samoan heritage. Looks like it was a turn mid-match, honestly. Quinn ended up hitting the running forearm strike on Anthony for the pinfall. So, I mean, expected there, but we'll have to see if that was an actual heel turn from Draco, or, you know, what the deal was there. Natalya was then seen walking through the women's locker room before being confronted by Tatum Paxley. Paxley challenged Natalya to a match, to which Natalya accepted, and then she put the entire women's locker room on notice, saying that the best of all time is here. We then go to the locker room where we see Indy and Dexter sitting with Persia Parada and Duke Hudson. Indy and Persia come up with the idea of Dexter and Duke becoming a tag team. Duke and Dexter, of course, are like dead set against it at first, but Indy and Persia end up getting them both to agree, and then they both get kisses on the cheeks. They're definitely going to win the tag titles at some point in the future. I can see it coming a mile away. Not sure how I feel about it, because they do like the strange bedfellows tag teams a lot, I feel like, just in WWE in general. Not against it, I guess, but definitely they're going to have to do some work to make it look good, because it's kind of cringy, the whole Indy, Dexter, Persia, Duke storyline. I just feel like it's going way too long, in my opinion. It was entertaining, but it's just kind of like, feels like that's the only other resolution at this point, is them winning the tag belts. So guess we'll have to see. We then go to our main event, which is the gauntlet match for the vacant NXT Tag Team Championship. We have the Creed brothers starting off first against Legado del Fantasma. Super hype match here with these two teams, as you might have expected. Legado actually had control for most of the match from what I remember seeing here. However, the Creed brothers were able to get the W in 5 minutes 32 seconds after Julius hit the unnecessary clothesline for the pinfall win, eliminating Legado. Briggs and Jensen then came out as the third tag team to take on the Creed brothers. They started brawling before commercial break. Good brawl here. We kept on with the Creed brothers as essentially the underdogs. Briggs and Jensen looked super good here. They even put Brutus through the announce table via powerbomb, and the look on Malcolm Bivens' face, looking stunned, was hilarious. That man honestly does no wrong. How he's not on the main roster yet either, no idea. But when he does go up, he's gonna crush it. The Creed brothers were able to swing the momentum back. Brutus took down Jensen and hit him with the unnecessary clothesline to get the pinfall victory in about 7 minutes 50 seconds. The fourth team to come out was Sangha and Grayson Waller. They teased that Sangha would be the only man competing since Waller still had his arm in a sling. However, during the match, Waller took the sling off, revealing that his arm was fine, and then that's when the match's momentum essentially shifted in favor of Waller and Sangha. However, it swung back in favor of the Creeds again, as Brutus hit a back suplex on Sangha before tagging in Julius. Julius then hit the rolling slam on Sangha and then hit the unnecessary clothesline to get the pinfall at 5 minutes and 52 seconds. The final team of the night was Pretty Deadly, taking on the Creed brothers. This was probably my favorite of the Gauntlet matches, or Gauntlet segments, if you will, just because I'm not too familiar with Pretty Deadly, as I don't watch NXT UK, I'll be honest. Just isn't enough time in the day, and I was impressed with Pretty Deadly. They mix a technical move set with high flying and with a little bit of striking thrown in there. Seems like they like doing code breakers or lung blowers, however you want to call them. And what I was predicting here, Pretty Deadly defeated the Creed brothers to become the new NXT Tag Team Champions in 6 minutes 25 seconds. After, let's see, they hit their finisher, which is called Spilled Milk. Essentially, it was like a heart attack kind of. That's how they got the pin, which I believe they pinned Julius Creed. The overall gauntlet match length was 27 minutes and 8 seconds. So props to the Creed brothers there, wrestling the entire match, 27 minutes, and you can tell they were gassed too by the end. Legs were buckling, they're dripping sweat all over the arena. Good stuff though. Really, really good gauntlet match. I totally understand them wanting to have the Creeds chase it. So I'm 100% okay with the booking decision of Pretty Deadly winning the tag belts. I assume they're going to hold them until the next NXT pay-per-view, or premium live event. And I assume that's where the Creeds are going to finally get the big win and the titles. So good stuff on NXT like always. Not much else to say there. The only things they announced for next week are Natalya against Tatum Paxley and Sarai against Tiffany Stratton in a rematch. Nothing else announced yet, but I'm sure in the coming days we will hear more. Another awesome episode of NXT 2.0. 5 stars. Well, we'll give it 4.5. Give it 4.5 here. But definitely thanks for watching, and we will see you guys later tonight on Wednesday for the AEW Dynamite Reacts.